Hello, little witchlings and princelings, and welcome to your weekly coven summoning. My name is Ilsa.
And my name is Stacy.
And we're Caffeine and Conjuring,
a fantasy bookish podcast where we will discuss some of our favorite fantasy reads.
It's been a while.
A hot minute.
Yeah, we are once again slightly delayed due to unforeseen medical issues on my end, because who got sick again?
Yeah.
Yay.
You work really close to people, though.
Yes.
So it's, yeah.
I was doing somebody's nails, and I had them sneezing and then putting their hands back, and I'm just pushing the hand sanitizer to them like, can you use this, please?
Oh,
Thanks.
my God.
Please. Don't come to an appointment when you're that sick.
Yeah. Yuck.
You'd think my immune system would be caught up by now, but alas, here we are. So we're going to see if we still remember how to do this. I don't know for sure if I remember any of the chapters, because it's been about a month and a half since I read them.
What book series are we doing again?
It's like Harry Potter or something.
Dang, we're Twilight?
Lord of the Rings.
Right.
That's it.
Of course we got them messed up.
Yeah.
They're like all basically the same book.
Yeah, we've been crushing on Dumbledore this entire time. So if you haven't already, so you don't get any spoilers, make sure that you've read up to and including chapter 59 of Kingdom of Ash and all the previous Throne of Glass series, because we will be talking about it all.
We don't want to ruin things for people.
No.
I don't even remember where we ended off with the last episode.
I'm glad you brought that up, because we ended the last episode with everyone getting the big reveal that Maeve is actually a Valg Queen.
Right.
And the war is no longer just Harrison against Morath. More players have been added. Everything is going to shit. And with that being said, we're going to hop right into chapter 50, because I can't remember the exact details of other things that happened last episode. So we're with Nesrin and the others, and the full history is explained. Maeve slipped into this world from the Valg realm, hid herself among the Fae, and used her powers to literally rewrite history in people's minds so no one would ever question her existence. Even Brannon didn't know the truth, which is absolutely wild. Because it means everything they thought they understood about Maeve and Dornell is built on a lie. She also reveals that Irene has found a way to rid Valg parasites without killing the human host, which is a
big win.
Yeah. And with that, everything clicks into place. Why Maeve fears fire, why she wanted Aelin so badly, why her power feels so wrong, why she was able to invade minds the way she did. Aelin explains what she went through during the 2 months of captivity, and you can feel the room go silent. The raw emotion in this conversation, no one really knows what to say, because it's obviously worse than they ever imagined. Maeve didn't just want the keys, she wanted Aelin broken, controlled, and used as a weapon. They force themselves to move forward and make a battle plan for Aniel, but Aelin is barely present for it. She's physically there, but she is emotionally unraveling. And who can blame her? She's been through the ringer.
Again.
Yes. For the 101st time. In this book.
Yeah.
Once they leave the tent, everything she's been holding in finally cracks. She admits to Rowan she doesn't think she can win, not against both Erewhon and Maeve. And more than that, she doesn't feel like herself anymore. She describes it like being ripped out of her own identity, like she's drowning beneath who she used to be. And this is the part that hurts. She's been pretending to be okay. The confidence, the swagger, the Aelin being Aelin, it's all been an act just to keep moving forward. She breaks down completely, and Rowan just holds her through it. And eventually, he gives her the only answer he can. They fight. Not because it's easy, not because they're guaranteed to win, but because it's the only thing left to do. After that, Aelin has a quieter moment with Fenris, where they acknowledge what they both went through under Maeve, and it adds another layer to everything. We learn that even the healers who treated Aelin were quietly trying to help her, giving her moments of unconsciousness to spare her more pain. A moment between Rowan and Gavriel shows just how much Gavriel is feeling right now. He questions why Aelin hasn't offered him the blood oath, but Rowan says she knows he would accept, but she wants to offer it to Adian. We don't want poor Adian having another hissy fit because the
His
blood oath has been sworn before him.
his ego just can't take it.
Nope.
Just can't take anymore.
So he knows she's putting his needs above her own. He also worries about whether Terrason has fallen, if Adian has fallen, but Rowan reassures him that they would know. It ends with Rowan telling Gabriel to gather a lead in Lorcan, and they're heading off again.
There they go.
There they go
Go again.
again.
Okay. Chapter 51. So we start with Lorcan completely spiraling after the truth about Maeve. He's not focused on the coming battle, the Rooks, Rucks, Rooks. What have we been calling them?
Rux.
Rucks? Okay.
Rux. Ruck Rider. Ruck Rider. Yeah.
Ruck Rider?
Rux.
Okay. So he's not focused on the coming battle, the Rucks, or anything around him. He's stuck on the fact that he served her for 500 years without ever realizing what she truly was. And now he's forced to confront what that says about him. There's this deep identity crisis happening, questioning whether his darkness drew him to her or whether he was meant to destroy her all along. Then a lead comes to get him, and it goes badly. Like, painfully badly. Lorcan tries to explain, tries to say he didn't know, but Elide isn't interested in comforting him. She's still stuck on the fact that he loved Maeve, or at least seemed to, and she can't reconcile how someone could love something so monstrous. And in true Elide fashion, she flips it back on herself, admitting that she's trying to understand her own feelings because she fell for him. And that's the dagger twist of the scene. Lorcan apologizes, genuinely, which is huge for him, but Elide shuts him down completely. She basically tells him his choices don't change anything between them and reminds him of the brutal truth. He's immortal and she's human. There's no easy future there. And then she delivers the line that absolutely wrecks him, saying the only thing she's jealous of is that Maeve is free of him.
Oof.
Holy cow, girl.
Oof.
It's
Burn.
harsh, but it's not entirely the truth, though, because right after Gavriel steps in and calls her out a bit, he points out something really important. Lorcan swore the blood oath to Aelin for her, not for loyalty, not for strategy, but so he could stay near Elide, even knowing their lives won't match in time, and that forces Elide to confront what she's been avoiding. She knows why he did it, and she's been punishing both of them to keep her anger intact. The girl just gotta let go, I think.
Yeah.
So, underneath all of that sharpness and hurt, there's still something very real between them. They're just not ready to face it quite yet, or at least Elide's not ready. Meanwhile, on the other side of the camp, we get a lighter, slightly chaotic break with Nesrin, Borte, and Yurn. Their dynamic is very we insult each other, but also absolutely would die for each other. And it's becoming increasingly obvious that Borte and Yaron's relationship is not quite as hostile as they made it seem. War is basically accelerating everything, feelings included. And then Sartok shows up, grounding things yet again. He and Nesrin have a softer moment where the weight of the war really settles in. And after a day of death and fighting, he just wants to be close to her, to hold on to something good in the middle of all the chaos. And she lets herself lean into that, even if it's just for a little bit.
And right into chapter 52, after returning from the Farian Gap, we're back with Manon and the 13 as they rejoin the Krakens. Love it. Love, love it, love it, love it.
Yay!
But for Manon currently, there's no victory waiting for them. No army rallied, no clear answer, just uncertainty hanging in the air. When Bronwyn presses her for what happened, Manon admits the truth. She didn't win the Iron Teeth over, she only forced them to think. And even that might not be enough. The Krakens decide to leave, to return to their scattered home hearths instead of uniting into a single force. It's a quiet but heavy choice, and it means the chance at building a united Witch Kingdom, at least for now, is slipping away. Manon takes this especially hard, and her conversations with Glennis really drives that home. We finally learn more about Rhiannon, her half sister, the one Manon, of course, killed. And Rhiannon believed completely and fiercely that the Iron Teeth and Krakens could be united. She believed Manon herself could be part of that future, that together they could rebuild what was broken. And now that dream rests entirely on Manon's shoulders. No pressure.
Not at all. She's built for it, though.
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
she's a firecracker.
Yeah.
There's no one left to share it with. No sister to lead beside her, just Manon, caught between two worlds expected to be the bridge between them. Even within the 13, you can feel the tension. Astrid still believes the Iron Teeth will turn, while Sorrel clearly isn't convinced. And Manon herself, she doesn't say it out loud, but you can feel her doubt creeping in. The idea of hope, something she's been circling for a while, feels more fragile than ever. Meanwhile, we check in with Dorian, and his arc is moving in a very different direction. While Manon is struggling with unity and identity, Dorian is focused on responsibility. Never thought we'd say that. After seeing Morath and everything his father and Erewhon created, he is determined to fix it, to undo the damage tied to his kingdom and his bloodline. And we see him actively stepping into that power. He begins practicing his shapeshifting again, turning into a raven, and starting to learn how to actually fly. A small moment, but it does feel symbolic. He's not just reacting anymore, he's preparing, getting ready for whatever comes next, especially his plan to infiltrate Morath.
Ugh.
I don't think there's any way to overplan sneaking into Morath.
No. No. No such thing. 53. Lysandra wakes up after being badly wounded in battle, and the first thing we get is that brutal realization that Parenth is gone. The army has been retreating for days, and they're still running for Ornth. Adian is there beside her, exhausted and hollowed out, and he tells her the truth. Even though they lost the battle, she is the reason the army didn't completely fall apart. When she stood as Aelin and faced the Ilkin, she rallied the soldiers and kept them from fleeing in total disgrace. But then the chapter pivots into the confrontation we've all been waiting for. Adian apologizes, and Lysandra absolutely does not let him off easy. She tells him exactly what he did to her, how humiliating it was, how cruel he was, and how deeply it cut that he only seemed to see her worth again once she was nearly dead. And that line, that she's been degraded in so many ways throughout her life, but had never felt as humiliated as when he threw her into the snow, that landed hard. We know she had a really rough
Upbringing.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And no doubt that girl was degraded to all hell. And
Yep.
for her to say that, like that meant a lot. Ugh. He was a dick.
Yeah. And, like, he has somewhat of a similar
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man. He is anyways.
Yes. This could very quickly and easily turn into rant against Adian right now.
Yes, it could.
Okay. She also finally admits what was really underneath all of this. She wanted it to be him. Even with all the danger, even with Aylin's plan, she genuinely wanted a future with Adian, which makes his reaction and cruelty hurt even more. And when he says he meant every promise he made to her on the beach at Skulls Bay, it's too late. She shuts the door, at least for now. Ugh, that feels like it was eons ago.
Yeah.
That felt so long ago when he was like promising like he was going to marry her. How much has happened in that time span? Oh, then, because this chapter apparently wanted to twist the knife even further, Adian walks straight into another blow. Darrow arrives and strips him of his rank, blames him for the failed campaign, and takes the sword of Ornth away. It is such a humiliating political move, especially in the middle of retreat and chaos, and it leaves Adian so drained he barely even fights it. He just doesn't have anything left. Look at him being humiliated after humiliating Lysandra.
And Aelin and
Yeah,
everybody. Where are our armies?
dickhole. Okay. What makes this part sting even more is that the sword was never just a weapon to him. It represented Terrasen, legacy, duty, and everything he had promised Aelin he would protect. Losing it feels symbolic, like he's being stripped not just of command, but of his identity. And then the chapter ends with the army realizing they are in real, genuine trouble. No fucking shit. They're still retreating, though through snow and exhaustion. Morath is gaining on them, and when Lysandra skips ahead, the news is terrible. The Florine River isn't frozen. The southern bridge has been destroyed. And Morath is close enough that they'll be on them by morning. So now the army is trapped. Ornth is close, but the river is blocking them, and Morath is hurting them exactly where it wants them. So this chapter is basically like a 1, 2, 3 punch. Lysandra wakes up wounded. Adian is forced to face what he's done to her. Darrow humiliates him and strips his command, and then the army realizes they're cornered. It's emotionally brutal and strategically brutal. A real everything is on fire, including everyone's feelings chapter.
Heavy on the everyone's feelings.
Yes.
Well, we'll take it down a little notch because in chapter 54, we open with Kale.
What's wrong with Kale now?
Can't contain my excitement. And of course, he's in the stables, hand feeding Farasha and trying to calm her after being flown by a ruck, which honestly is the most relatable horse reaction imaginable. Horses are so moody to begin with. I can't imagine just a horse being picked up by a ruck and then being
Yeah.
dropped and just being like losing
It
its
would not
shit.
be fine.
No,
It would not be fine with that.
Kale would be dead.
Yeah.
And his wife, Irene, comes to find him, tells him he should be resting, and this turns into one of the sweetest moments they've had in a while because Kale reveals that he knows she's pregnant. He figured it out
About
because
fucking
his father
time.
noticed first, which is deeply annoying. But the important part is that Kale is completely overjoyed. Irene confirms she's almost 2 months along, and for the moment, in the middle of war, they get this little breath of happiness. They joke, they hold each other, and Kale is already talking about building their house and a future together. It's tender and hopeful and feels almost stolen from the chaos around them. And you can tell when notes have been written by Stacy and not me.
Can't help it. I still really like them.
Then the tone pivots hard because Kale decides it's time for his father to meet Aelin. Yee. Irene goes with him, mostly for moral support, and probably because there is no universe where she'd miss this train wreck. And that does not disappoint. They find Kale's father on his way to see the queen, already in a foul mood, and Aelin answers the door, already radiating exhausted, feral menace. From there, it becomes a full on verbal sparring match. Kale's father immediately starts with the petty little jabs, including bringing up how Kale sent Aelin to Wendelin, and Aelin absolutely does not take the bait quietly. She shuts him down with that perfect blend of mockery and queenly threat, basically making it clear that she is tired, hungry, and not in the mood. And if he keeps talking, it's going to end badly for him. Me
I
and
love
Aelin
that.
have so much in common. Rowan is standing there like this giant silver haired wall of calm menace, and Kale and Irene are just trying not to enjoy this too much. Aelin is especially funny here because she's running on irritation and zero patience, much like me and my everyday life, which is apparently her strongest form.
Yeah.
The whole exchange really highlights two things. First, Kale's father is the absolute fucking worst. And second, that Aelin has no problem meeting him at his level and then settling him on fire verbally. She doesn't bend, Rowan doesn't bend, and Kale finally gets the satisfaction of seeing his father be the one thrown off balance for once. Then, tucked into the end of that scene, Aelin casually congratulates Kale and Irene on the pregnancy before the door shuts in his father's face, which is such a lovely little beat.
Mm.
It reminds us that even after everything, Aelin still sees people. She notices and she cares. After, we get a quieter conversation back in the room with Aelin, Rowan, Alid, Fenris, and then Gabriel joining them. They start talking about the morale problem in Aniel. The soldiers are exhausted and terrified after days of siege. Rowan points out that fear is rotting the army from the inside, and they all realize tomorrow's battle is going to be brutal. There's also this fascinating turn when a lead asks who would rule Dornell if Maeve is actually banished, and suddenly everyone realizes that because Maeve is an imposter and Aelin is Mab's true heir, Aelin technically has claim there too. Da,
My
da,
gosh.
da. So, in one of the most casually insane developments ever, Aelin basically gets handed another title, the Fairy Queen of the West.
My gosh, she's collecting titles like Pokemon cards.
I was going to say Infinity Stones, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, accurate.
Aelin naturally is like, great, another fucking fancy title. Whoopee. But under the joke, there's weight. It's another reminder of what she is, what she's inherited, and what she may never get to fully live out if the gods get what they want. And then the chapter closes on a nightmare. Aelin dreams again of sacrifice, of being trapped in a coffin in dark stone beside Elena, both of them suffocating as the gods watch and wait. It's horrifying and claustrophobic and makes it crystal clear no matter how composed she seems to the outside, inside she's still deeply rattled by what's coming. She wakes terrified, crawls closer to Rowan for comfort, and ends on this fierce internal promise she will never be helpless again.
Oh, I love her. Okay, 55. We are back with Dorian, and he's experimenting with his shape shifting. And instead of turning into an animal like before, he shifts into a female Kraken witch. Uh, this was it was as awkward as you'd expect. Like he felt so strange being in this body that moved like so different. He was so thrown off by it all. Like the difference in balance, and even having breasts. Like he was just like, oh my God, this body. And spends time literally pacing around trying to figure out how the body works. It's kind of funny, but also shows just how powerful and adaptable his magic is becoming. And of course, Manon figures it out almost immediately. She clocks him despite the disguise, which says a lot about how tuned in she is to him specifically. Their interaction quickly turns sharp and charged. There's that familiar bite to their dynamic, but also a lot of simmering underneath it. Dorian pushes her, calls her out for trying to stop him from going to Morath, and basically lays it bare. She's afraid, not of war, not of Morath, but of what she feels and of admitting that she wants him to stay. And of course, Manon, she doesn't deny it. She just refuses to say it out loud and just walks away. Like, nope, not going to touch this with a 10-foot pole, and just walks away. And that moment really defines where they are right now. There's something real between them, but Manon isn't ready to face it, and Dorian isn't going to let her hide from it without a fight. After that, we shift to Manon alone as the Krakens prepare to leave. There's this heavy sense of failure hanging over her. She didn't convince the Iron Teeth to turn, and she didn't unite the witches, and now the Krakens are leaving without her. She realizes that part of the reason things didn't work is because she held herself back. She didn't let them truly see her, didn't open up about what she's been through or who she could be. The same truth Dorian threw at her. You're afraid. Starts to settle in. She has a quiet goodbye with Glennis, and it feels final, like whatever chance there was to bring the witches together might be slipping away. And then, because peace is illegal in the series, the moment is shattered. Glennis suddenly senses something on the wind and tells Manon to run. And that part was like so eerie
Yeah.
because, like, out of the blue, she's just like her entire, like, she just changes and she's just like, run. Like, oh my God, what the fuck is coming? And Manon, of course, does the opposite, and she draws her sword, and that's when the threat appears. 3 wyverns dive out of the sky, and Manon instantly recognizes them. The Iron Teeth matrons have found them.
Dun,
They're
dun,
not here to
dun.
talk, though. So this chapter moves from Dorian experimenting with his power to a tense and revealing confrontation between him and Manon, to Manon confronting her own fears and failures, and then straight to the, oh no, the worst possible people just showed up cliffhanger. The matrons of the Iron Teeth Witch Clan has found them. And it's very much the calm before the storm, except the storm is already screaming out of the sky.
Yeah, she's in the eye of the storm at this point.
Ah, there's so much happening in all of these chapters, and it's
Yeah.
I have a belly ache.
The 3 Iron Teeth matrons arrive at the Kraken camp alone, which immediately signals that this is not about war strategy. It's personal. The Krakens prepare to defend themselves, but the real confrontation centers on Manon, especially when it's revealed that the Yellowlegs matron is wearing the Kraken Queen's crown as a deliberate insult. That act alone raises the stakes, turning the moment into something symbolic as well as deadly. Manon steps forward to face the matrons on her own, refusing to back down. What follows is a brutal and fast paced fight, with all three matrons attacking her at once. Despite the odds, Manon holds her ground. She doesn't rush, doesn't panic. She fights with control, endurance, and clarity, no longer conflicted about who she is. That internal shift is what changes everything. She withstands their attacks long enough to create an opening, and when it comes, she takes it without hesitation, killing the Yellow Legs matron in a decisive final strike. After the kill, Manon retrieves the stolen crown. She places it on her head. It's not just a symbolic gesture. The crown itself seems to awaken, glowing with power and confirming what she has become. In that moment, she's no longer just a Blackbeak or an outcast. She is something entirely new. She chooses not to continue the slaughter, sparing the blue blood matron in repayment of past mercy and allowing her grandmother to flee rather than chase her down. This isn't about revenge anymore, it's about something larger. When the fight ends, Manon tries to return the crown to Glennis, but Glennis refuses. Instead, she places it back on Manon's head and kneels before her, acknowledging her as the rightful queen.
Oh,
One by one, the Krakens follow, and then the 13, showing unity between groups that have been divided for generations. By the end of the chapter, Manon is no longer just leading a rebellion, she's officially recognized as the Queen of Witches, a bridge between the Krakens and the Iron Teeth, and a force capable of reshaping their future while leaving us, the reader, in tears. Because, oh
yeah,
my god, this chapter.
yeah. As soon as I got to that chapter, I messaged you. I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I was so excited for it. And then I was just sobbing.
Yeah.
Oh,
So good.
oh, it is. Can we just end it there?
They all lived happy
Just,
ever after.
yeah. I mean,
No
they're
one
all
dies.
they're all fine.
It's
We can
fine.
end it.
The war just doesn't ever happen.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
just
everyone's
it'll
good, everyone's
fizzle out.
happy, everyone's paired up. It's all good. It's all good.
And yet we're only halfway through. Ah.
The trauma hasn't started yet.
How has it not started yet? There's been so much. Chapter 57 shifts us right into the tension before battle, and it's clear something is weighing heavily on Rowan. While the army prepares for the assault, his thoughts are consumed not by strategy, but by Aelin. Surprise, surprise. He knows she has the power to destroy Morath's forces outright, yet she hasn't used her magic at all, and hasn't even offered it as an option. The hope surrounding her as the Firebringer is fragile, and Rowan fears what will happen when that expectation isn't met. Fenris finally reveals the truth. Maeve and Cairn tortured Aelin by burning her hands, leaving trauma so deep that even after healing, it has affected her relationship with her own magic. Rowan is shaken by this, realizing the silence around her power is strategy. It's something far more personal. Still, he's reminded to let Aelin come to him when she's ready, rather than forcing the truth from her. We all know we can't force Aelin. There's no forcing her.
Nope.
As the battle begins, the tension on the battlements is palpable. The Kagan's army launches its assault, arrows fly, and Morath advances with siege towers and ladders. That part sucked to read when it was just like they were watching the towers being like rolled out, knowing what the towers are.
Yeah.
Like goddamn.
Nothing they can do.
Yep. Yep. Um The soldiers defending the keep are afraid, visibly, deeply afraid, and it's clear that morale is on the brink of breaking. Rowan and the cadre prepare to hold the line, positioning themselves where the siege tower will strike, ready to fight without relying on magic just yet. The moment feels like it could go either way, with fear threatening to unravel everything before the battle truly begins. But then Aelin arrives. Oh, this part. Oh, so she appears in gleaming gold armor, crowned for battle, and instead of unleashing fire, she throws herself directly into the fight. But she just sounds so badass, like with all like the armor that she's wearing,
Yeah.
and then like the crown, like it's just oh. What follows is not magic, it's raw skill, precision, and relentless movement. Because she was an assassin well before her magic came back.
Yeah.
Like, the girl knows what she's doing. She cuts through Morath's soldiers with brutal efficiency, placing herself at the mouth of the siege tower and holding the line alone. Her presence ignites the soldiers' spirits far more powerfully than any magic could. The cry spreads, the queen has come, and the men rally, surging forward to fight beside her. Rowan realizes in that moment that Aelin doesn't need her fire to inspire loyalty or courage. She proves her strength through action, through sheer force of will. The battle intensifies as Kael joins the fight. The cadre pushes forward, and even Lorcan and Gavriel storm into the siege tower itself. Meanwhile, the Kagan's forces begin to gain ground across the battlefield. Aelin continues to fight at the front, unstoppable, reclaiming her identity not as a weapon of destruction, but as a leader. This isn't just about winning the battle, it's about proving to their allies and to their soldiers and to herself that she is not helpless, not broken, and not defined by what was done to her. By the end of the chapter, Aelin has transformed the tide of morale. Without using a single flame, she becomes the symbol her army needs, turning fear into defiance and reminding everyone watching, especially the Kagan's royals, exactly who she is.
On to chapter 58, and we're starting with a lead in the healer's hall. And honestly, it's a little horrifying. She is nowhere near the battlement. She still feels completely overwhelmed by the realities of war. Soldiers are being dragged in one after another with gruesome injuries, and she's struck by how calm the healers are while working through absolute carnage. Irene, especially, is just steady and focused, even while men are screaming around her. Alid can't do any healing magic herself, so she helps however she can, holding men down, fetching supplies, running water, grabbing bandages. It really drives home that war is not just swords and glory on the battlefield. It's blood, fear, and exhaustion everywhere, even behind the front lines. Out on the battlements, the battle is still raging. Kale is fighting from Farash's back, and Stace loved this detail because Farasha is absolutely fearless. She is trampling Morath soldiers like an absolute queen. The siege tower and ladders keep bringing more enemies onto the walls, but Kale keeps fighting, driven by the knowledge that Irene is behind him in the keep and he cannot fail her. Meanwhile, the Kagan's army is steadily gaining ground outside, but it's slow, brutal work. Then we get Nesrin's perspective in the sky, and this part adds a whole new layer of danger. She and the Rukin are fighting above the battlefield, but then a scout alerts Sartak to something even worse. Morath has sent soldiers up to the dam above the plain. Their goal is basically scorched earth destruction. If they break the dam, the flood will wipe out everyone. Morath's army, the Kagan's forces, the city, everybody. So Nesrin and Sartak race to stop them in one of the most tense sequences in the chapter. They dodge, huge iron bolts meant to kill the Rooks, swoop in, destroy the war machine, and tear apart the soldiers at the dam just in time. But the dam is damaged badly enough that they know this is now a urgent problem. So they race back to the keep with that warning. And then we get to Mr. Lorcan, which is a little bit of a bleak chapter because,
Yeah.
yeah, he and Gavriel have fought their way through the inside of one siege tower, then back out onto the battlefield, then toward the battering ram at the gates. He is fully in his battle element here. This is what he was made for, and there's almost something grimly peaceful to him about the violence. But underneath that, he is spiraling. He's thinking about a lead, about how badly things are broken between them, and convincing himself no one would really care whether he survives this. So when the Kagan's army is finally closing in and victory seems possible, Lorcan makes a reckless choice to drop his shields and just throw himself deeper into the slaughter. And that goes exactly as badly as you would expect. A Valk soldier catches him off guard, slices open his back, and then stabs him through the gut, and Lorcan goes down hard. So, overall, chapter 58 is really about the sheer scale and cost of war. A lead sees its horror from the healer side. Kale and Farasha hold the line on the walls. Nesrin and Sartak stop a disaster at the dam, and Lorcan nearly gets himself killed because he's emotionally unraveling under it all. It's tense, relentless, and one of those chapters where literally every front feels like it could collapse at any second.
I was going to say that, like, it feels like this is one of those pivotal chapters where it's just like danger, danger, at like
I'm in
every way you look.
danger.
Yeah. But then I thought about it. The whole fucking series has been like that. So, oh, our final chapter of the episode, chapter 59. We open in the aftermath of the fighting with Rowan and Aelin on the battlements. Both are exhausted and bloodied, watching the Kagan's army finish off Morath's remaining soldiers. It's one of those eerie post-battle moments where the adrenaline is gone and what's left is just the wreckage. Hazar confirms their losses were relatively low compared to what they could have been, especially for the Dargon. But Aniel's side suffered badly. Aniel's side was pretty pitiful because they never had anything, and like not really a whole lot of training
Yeah.
either. Like that was pretty shit of Kale's father. Speak of Kale's father, um, he is as charming as ever about it, basically just saying they lost many and just leaving it at that. Hazar then needles Aelin a little about the show she put on during the battle because Aelin absolutely made an impression. But Aelin doesn't push back too hard. She's quieter here, almost withdrawn. Like the battle gave her a release, but also left her somewhere distant emotionally. Then the real disaster drops in. Nesrin and Sartak come flying back in looking terrified, and then they reveal that Morath has sent soldiers to damage the dam above the plain. Sartak and Nesrin stop them before they could fully destroy it, but not before enough damage was done that the dam could burst at any moment. And if it does, the entire plain gets wiped out. That means the Kagan's army, the healers, everyone out there on the battlefield could be swept away in one catastrophic flood. So suddenly, after barely surviving one nightmare, they're staring down another. What makes this chapter hit is that there really isn't a good solution. Kale suggests getting as many people as possible onto the rocks and up into the mountains behind the keep, and opening the gates so anyone close enough can run inside. Aelin points out that the people farther out need to run for the forest and climb if they can. But even that's not much comfort because everyone knows how massive this flood will be. There's a horrible realization here too. Morath may have chosen Aniel on purpose, knowing the dam could be used to destroy the army that came to save it. So even in defeat, Erewhon set up one final move. Then a lead arrives from the healer's hall and gets this news almost in passing. And that's when the chapter pivots into something even more personal. She asks where Lorcan is. Oh my god, this part. At first, no one really has an answer, and that's the problem. In all the chaos of battle and planning and crisis, no one has actually kept track of him. Gavriel eventually says he saw Lorcan out on the battlefield fighting near the Kagan's forces, but after that, nothing. Rowan tells Fenris to use his magic to jump out and get Lorcan, but Fenris says he can't. Rowan pushes, thinking he means he won't, but Aelin stops him. So, whatever is going on with Fenris, Elide realizes no one is going to save Lorcan for her. And that is where Elide absolutely snaps into action. She remembers her promise, I will always find you, and decides she's going after him herself. She fights her way down through the panic keep, literally screaming for people to clear a path for the queen, just to force them aside. She's so clever. Is such an Elide.
Yeah.
I thought I just said her name wrong. It's such an Elide move. Clever, desperate, and effective. When she gets to the lower level, she realizes there's no way she can cross the battlefield on foot in time. So she looks for another option and finds Farasha. Um, Half panicked in the chaos, because of course she is, she's dramatic. Elide basically begs the horse for help, and Farasha actually stills for her. Then Elide climbs onto the saddle, throws off the stabilizing braces meant for Kale, and rides straight out into the battlefield to find Lorcan before the dam bursts. Ah, she needs to find him.
What did he do? What did Lorcan do?
Oh my god. Wow. It's been so long since I read those chapters, but like that just brought it all back again.
Yeah,
Uh we are in the thick of it.
very much so.
Wow.
Terrason's queen is back, also the queen of the Fae folk.
Mhm.
We have our Kraken queen, Witch queen, Blackbeak queen.
Queen.
Yeah, the queens are killing it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. Stressed, obviously. There hasn't been a single chapter that I haven't
Yeah.
felt stressed in this series. Um, but it's really setting up for some insane, insane parts.
If you could only give one reaction to how you're feeling about the series thus far, what would you give?
Terrified.
Not a feeling, a
I'm
reaction.
what?
Like
I'm not following. What what do you mean?
like a physical reaction, like facial reaction.
Uh, no, because you're gonna take a screenshot.
I need clips, damn it, for reals.
I, I don't know how to do a reaction to terrified. Like, ah, I'm not an actor. Ah, oh no.
Alexia! I found our clip.
You're welcome. Oh. Yeah.
It's crazy that so much still has to be wrapped up in a half a book. Now, I mean,
Yeah.
I know that half a book is 500 pages, but
Yeah, it's still pretty beefy. But
yeah,
it feels like, yeah, like this feels like we are at the end. Like this feels like it should be the end of this big battle. Like,
this feels like it should be like midway through the series.
oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, like there's still so much left that needs to get wrapped up.
yeah, like the
Yeah.
one war is just starting. We still don't know how Maeve is gonna play into this
Yeah.
fight wise. Um, but like it feels like it should be mid series and not mid the last book of the series.
Yeah. Yeah, because we already we already know that the series is complete, so it's not like we can hold on to the hope of, maybe there's be more. Not not in a traditional sense,
Mm.
'cause, it is a fantasy series, so who knows, but I'm just going by the knowledge that she said that the series is complete.
Yeah.
It's finished,
I hope
so
she does, like, I don't want her to reopen the series itself necessarily, but I'd like to get some, like, glimpses
mm,
into some characters' stories,
yeah, yeah, or just
and that's all I'll
some
say on that.
answers. Some answers
What
to
are the
things.
big questions floating around for you right now that
I have some, like, questions about, like, I can't say because could be spoilers to
okay,
other
yeah,
series in
fair
the
enough.
SJM universe.
Yeah.
Um, mainly, like, my questions are more so just, like, how's it gonna play out? Like, does Aelin have to die for all this to, you know, fix? But if she does, so much more shit would hit the fan if that's the case. I I don't know. I just ah, I'm terrified. I'm just yeah, literally afraid of how this is because I don't have any theories on how this rectifies.
Yeah.
I know how I don't want it to rectify.
Everybody dies.
It's pretty much what I still feel is gonna happen, but we'll see.
Well, I don't have anything else for what we read. I
Mhm.
can't say a single fucking thing.
Nope. Nope.
So, before our next episode, which we are pushing to be on a stricter schedule again, get back to our weekly episodes on
Yep.
time and in person. Or on video, not in
Yeah.
person. Make sure that you've read up to and including chapter 69. Nice.
Oh,
Of
nice.
Kingdom of
Very
Ash.
nice. Yeah.
And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Toodles. And with that, our coven summoning comes to a close. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
And follow Caffeine and Conjuring on Instagram and TikTok to stay up to date on our journey through Throne of Glass.